Ever had that problem when you're trying to cut and extend your LED light strips and for some reason the connection isn't that great or the colors just keep changing? Well, this is the video that you need to watch. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to extend the Govee RGBIC light strips.
Flux Automate.
One of the reasons you may be coming across these types of problems is because you are trying to use these type of connectors. These are the type of cheap connectors that you usually get in packs when you're trying to go around colors or extend or add on. But from my experience, they've never been the greatest way to extend LEDs. Why not subscribe to the Flux Automation channel where you can see more videos like this one and other interesting videos on home automation. So with that said, I have an example of two great extenders that you could use that will definitely resolve your issue. So here we have the black quick strip wire connector from RGB Zone, and they usually come in packs of 10. These are also waterproof. And on this side, we have the Chi-Hut version of the same type of connector. Now these types of connectors come in many different versions, but in this example, it's going to allow us to cut an LED, add some cable in between to extend, and then add it back on the other side. Now in making the choice, I will go over this version rather than this version. Main reason being, no need to strip anything off, but the other side to it is the other one is super see-through, whereas this one has to be a black. I think you can get a version of it in all clear, but check out the link in the description and I'll put all the information and all the links to the products right there. So let's look at the RGB version. Now, this version allows you to insert your 4 cable lead in, and then once you have it in place, it allows you to just snap it. No need for you to cut down the wires or anything like that. You can just put the wires in as they are, as long as you separate them. And then on the other side, you can just put your LED. No need to strip any of the plastic away from it, because the teeth that are at the bottom, as you can see in the black, you can see these gold pins sticking up here. Once you clip down, these will actually dig in to the LED strip and create the connection. Now the Chi-Hut version is slightly different in terms that you need to strip your wires down and then feed them into the holes, if you can see them right here. Let's see if you can, as you can see them right here, you feed them into the holes, and then the pins at the bottom. And on the other side, this example, you actually need to strip away any plastic coating from the top of the LED and then clip it in. As you can see, nice and clear and see-through. And on the black version, black at the bottom and then see-through at the top. Now the issue with the older version of these types of strips, or the cheaper version, is that these pins here that come down, sometimes they raise up or don't create a great connection, and this is usually where you have your issues. You can just see the same on this corner one here as well. So I would advise never to use these. Spend a little bit more money and get the upgrade to either the ones I've just shown you. So with that said, we're going to extend the Govee RGBIC LED strip, which would enable us to use a certain section for a certain part of the room, use the wiring to go around the room to connect to another station, and then do the same on the other side. The great thing about that is then you don't need to have multiple LED strips with the power and the controller. You can just use it all from one and extend to the parts of the room where you need it. So for this example, we're going to use the RGB Zone connectors. We're going to use the Govee RGBIC light strip, and we're going to be using some wire. And because this is RGBIC, we have to use wire that is 4 strands. We just cut along here so we can extend. We just cut along the wire dividers. Make sure not to cut into the wire itself. So then we have it split into 4. Just as simple as that. So then we need to measure out how long we want this wire to be. So for this example, just a short length, just to show you how it all connects together. So we just cut on this side and then do the same as we did on the previous side by cutting down the line just to separate the wires out. Now we have 4 here as well to connect back on the other side. You just feed them in like that. Just make sure they're pushed down. So you set them up ready to go in. And then once you have them aligned in there, just click it down, press firmly, just make sure it clicks, make sure all your wires are in as they're supposed to be. Make sure it's snug by trying to pull it apart, and then you'll know that it's connected firmly. Now this isn't going anywhere, and also it's waterproof. So now we have the 2 sides, so you created your extension. Now we just need to set up the LEDs by cutting the 2 sides that we can extend to. So we're just gonna unravel the LEDs. So now we have the strip and we're ready to cut. We just need to find out how long we want to have the initial part before extending. So just for this example, I'm not going to take it too far. I'm just going to make it just to the first junction. Okay, so we're going to extend from here. So we have a shortcut of some LED, and then we're going to cut along here where it's been soldered. Now these LEDs, you can cut along the soldering. Just make sure you don't cut into the chips or the lighting and inside. And then once we attach it, we're going to attach it just a little further off from the solder. Before we make the cut, we just want to make sure the LED is lighting all the way through and that we don't have any problems with it. So we'll plug the LED in, test it, make sure it's working before we do any cutting at all. So now we can see the LED is working all the way through, and all we're doing is finding the junction where we're going to actually cut, which is along here. So before we cut, we need to make sure we unplug it from the socket and the power supply itself. Have yourself a trusted pair of scissors, and let's cut along the solder points. Here we go. So now we have 2 sides, and between there is where we're going to extend. So let's get one of the ends of the extender and simply just place it in, and then just push down. Then we get the other end of the LED strip that we had just cut and place it in there. Simple as that. So now it's all connected. Okay, the teeth have dug in to the bottom of this LED strip. Because this is a waterproof one, it has a waterproof membrane on it, it actually digs in from the underside, so it digs into this part rather than having to go through the rubber on top. So we have the LED, the start, or the end I should say, of our connection. We extend, and we have our other connection here, and then we have the rest of the LED strip. So now it's done, all we need to do is connect it back together, turn it on and test it. And as easy as that, we have extended. One thing to keep in mind is just make sure when you have your extension, this wire must go flat from this connector, flat all the way to the other side. Because we have the 12 volt and the 0 on one side, we want the 12 volt and the 0 on the other side. And if I pull and twist and tug on this, nothing is happening whatsoever. Nice and firm. Whereas those other connectors that we showed you before, this would have just came out a long time ago. Okay, so here we have it, all nice and firm. So we have where it starts from the main part of the LED strip through the extender and connected to the other side. So if you found this useful, please subscribe, hit that like button and hit the notification bell, and also check what else is on the channel.
Flux Automate.